after looking at the film in the first week, how do you kind of make of your performance first and then also the team's?
Yeah, I thought I did well. Got the ball out to guys to make plays. I still have my things that I need to clean up and do better at. And I'm always, going to own those and try to improve from the weeks in the past. But the rest of the guys did a great job. Our O-line set the tone all game, the pace of the game. Our receivers all came in and made great plays when we needed them. A lot of guys that hadn't had reps in the past, and the running backs, Peeny and Chris, they were downhill, kind of leading the way all night.
With the receivers specifically, did you anticipate that many guys getting involved in the first week? Is that something you saw?
I think so, yeah, just because in practice, everybody gets reps throughout practice, and I've seen that everyone knows what they're doing. They're on the same page, and the mentality, obviously, come game day is next man up. And there was, several times in the huddles where Fess would be like, all right, so-and-so, next man up, let's go. So, yeah, I definitely expect that from those guys, and they did a great job.
You obviously saw them all spring and you saw them through the fall, but it's something very different when the lights are on in a real game against a real opponent and everything. What did you make of Chris's kind of debut in Cougar Blue, I guess? Was it everything you dreamed of?
Yeah, absolutely. We never got to see Chris go live just because, you're not going to have the older guys get tackled at all in spring or fall camp. But watching his film from the last couple of years, you had to feel that he would be A-OK come game day. And sure enough, he was ready to go, and he got going.
Well, just what is it about him that, it's got to be a really nice kind of, I don't know if safety net's the right term, but maybe I'll use it for lack of a better one, to have back there for you to kind of rely on.
Chris is a very confident runner. He's a confident football player. Early on in spring ball, we got to feel quickly that he knew what he was doing. He understood the playbook, and that, is the result of him spending a lot of time as soon as he got here in the winter studying the playbook. Me and him would sit down a couple times during the weeks and go over some things. So I knew he'd be ready because he's a guy who puts the time in and wants to be as prepared as anybody.
What's the biggest takeaway, I guess, so far through just one game and a few post-game practices so far to this point with the offense?
Yeah, when we're energetic, when we're establishing the physicality of the game, and we're setting the tone, I think we're a really good offense. I think we move the ball well, we run the ball well, and off of that we can throw the ball very well. So just staying highly energized, playing physical, I think that leads to more energy and making plays.
What's a home opener like at LaVell Edwards Stadium?
It's there's no words for it, honestly. It's amazing. We have the greatest fans in the world. They're hours before for warm-up. There's times in warm-up you got to put your earphones in and kind of quiet everything because it gets so loud. So it's a comfort to know that we got so many fans there to support us, to have our backs through that because they're just as much a part of this as we are.
Is Baylor a rivalry to you, a natural rivalry for BYU right now?
I don't know. I've only played them once. I've never had any tie to Baylor throughout my life, really. So maybe in the future, as the Big 12 rolls around, that could definitely become a thing. But for me personally, not really. But I respect the heck out of them. We know their coaches, obviously, that we're here, Coach Grimes and Coach Mateos. And so there is some meaning behind the game, though, for sure.
Is there any value or takeaway from that game last year that can help you prepare for this week?
Yeah, absolutely. We got to be physical. Anyone that remembers last year, we don't hearken. Sorry, I was going to say hearken. I'm going to read my scriptures. We don't think back on some of the older games and the stuff in the past because it does us no good. But from that game, we can just learn we got to be physical and be able to run the ball and kind of hang our hats on that and go from there. So. This week our plan is obviously to be physical and make sure we can do what we can up front.
Being at BYU, you guys face a lot of different defensive schemes.
Sure.
Where does Baylor maybe stack up in the games that you played among defenses you faced?
They have a great scheme. Coach Aranda was the highest paid defensive coordinator for years in college football, and no doubt you see that in his, the defensive coordinator scheme now. So they're very disciplined in what they do. They're very good at what they do. You can tell they're all on the same page, and they have great players. So, we're definitely have to be in our best game and be prepared for what they have.
How critical is it to establish the run on offense in this game?
It's very critical. Every week it's critical, but especially against an opponent like this, they have a great front seven, strong front seven, great box, experienced secondary, great athletes. So we got to be able to, run the ball, and but that's no different than every other week.
Is there any other maybe extra incentive or pressure to this game with maybe the national implications, the rankings behind these two teams?
Nah, no pressure. It's just another game. We got to be the most prepared team. Letting all that stuff get to you, it just brings in stuff from the external that doesn't matter. So for us, it's just another game on the schedule, and it's a game that we got to be ready for.
Jaren was kind of talking about one run you had in the fourth quarter where he said maybe don't do that in the future. How do you kind of balance that right now and between keeping healthy and making those plays late in games?
Yeah, just understanding our scheme, understanding what options are safe runs. understanding when to go scramble on a pass play and get down. And then there's situations where you got to go get a first down, you got to go get in the end zone. So I think just coming with experience, understanding where you're at in the game, what the score is. You got to be available the next down to do any good for your team. So for me, it's just going off a lot of experiences in the past and learning from some of my mistakes in the run game.
Good. Thanks,
Cool.
Jaren.
Thanks, guys.
Jaren.